Seeds of Freedom, our theme for this month, and today's talk and next Sunday's talk will also be about opening new doors. There are two things I like to do as I welcome in the new year. Well, there's three now because I just had another great-granddaughter born at the cusp of the new year. So the other two, though, the first one is to do with my life what a bookkeeper does each year in closing out the previous year's books. The first thing the bookkeeper does is to inventory the assets of the business, those things which move forward into the new year. Then the categories in the books can be balanced in preparation for the new year. So here's how that looks to me in my life. The columns to be balanced in my life are such things as my health, my relationships, my work, prosperity, creativity, recreational pursuits, those kinds of things. The second thing I do is to look at those columns that bookkeepers have for pluses and minuses, sometimes known as credits and debits. You know, the ins and outs. In my life, the personal, the spiritual, and the emotional debits and credits. Now, note that this is an exercise to enhance conscious awareness of where I am in consciousness, so I can be consciously aware of where I choose to go next. It's not intended or used as a critique or a criticism of where I'm not or what I haven't done yet. You see, we have such fantastic minds, minds which are inextricably connected with the one mind. We can look and reflect on the past. We can interact with the present. And we can imagine the future. So that's our purpose today, to reflect on the past in preparation for interacting with the present and imagining the future. I've long believed that merely trying to deny or ignore the past doesn't automatically heal or even improve my life. In fact, I've discovered that actually denying or ignoring it doesn't automatically heal or improve it either. Sometimes what we really need to do about our past is to claim ownership of it. Because claiming ownership of it gives us options to do something about it. And being in the driver's seat, by doing so, gives us power. Here are some of the positive aspects of claiming ownership of what's in my past. One, sometimes reflecting may take us back further into our lives and give us a different perspective on the present situation. Or it may enable us to see there has been a pattern in the choices we've been making and the way we've been living our life. And perhaps that pattern doesn't support how you really want to live your life now. Here's another aspect of claiming ownership of what's in our past. We become more conscious of our happy memories, of the sweetness that lies within them. Now we can begin to understand where we keep those happy memories, as well as how and when we visit them. Doing this can cause us to decide they have value in our consciousness and we can continue to enjoy their richness. Here's a third positive aspect of claiming ownership in what's in your past. You can decide to dare to look at your memories. You can call them by name. You can explore the dynamics of them. You can decide to learn from them and move on. You see, learning from our past may cause some temporary discomfort, but you can release that discomfort along with the memories themselves, knowing that you no longer need to own them or the discomfort. One of the areas that sometimes comes up here is what we've been taught to call failure. But any one of us can have the experience of failure and not be a failure. When we choose to learn from an experience of failure, rather than branding ourselves, then we quickly realize that what was previously viewed as a failure, in truth, was a result that contained great value for our future actions and experiences. So, like the bookkeeper, this is looking at the columns in your life's book, realizing that the entries, the ins and the outs, the pluses and the minuses, tallied the credits and the debits, personally, spiritually, emotionally. Now the books of your life are balanced for the year. It's time to close them. It's time to close the doors that deserve to be closed. And one of the ways we've been doing here for some time, and perhaps many of you for many years, is the ever popular burning bowl exercise. We just happen to have one set up here today, and we just happen to have paper and pens for you to jot down some of the things you've been thinking about these last few minutes as I've been talking about releasing the past. So I'm going to take a few minutes and give all of us an opportunity to do that, to write down the things you'd like to release from last year or whenever. And if you have more than one, you're certainly not alone. Write each one on a separate piece of paper. Separate them out. And when you've done so, then you can fold them up and bring them up to the front and drop them in the burning bowl. So somewhere here, Pam, I have this is a paper. And a myriad of writing implements. All right. Take your choice, pick your color. And I'll ask that as you're doing this, you do so without any crosstalk or conversation. So we can respect each other's experience of release, which is sometimes rather poignant, sometimes emotional. Or others, including our own, trying to avoid trying. And by not interfering with anyone else's thoughts or your own. So, this is a paper still going around? You bet. So the first thing I'd like to do now is a spiritual mind treatment. So I'll ask you to just relax in your seats. Close your eyes if you choose. Allow yourself to come fully present to this time, to this place, and to this moment of release through the burning of old, no longer useful ideas or processes. And to know with me that the one mind that I call God, divine intelligence, creative spirit, is so present in this moment and in every moment. I know that as I release the old and make room for the new, that spirit is with me, supporting me, guiding me, embracing me in this growth in consciousness that I call balancing my books. I know that these things which I have decided to release go from me in love, having served me at one time or another to bring me to where I am and who I am in this moment. So I bless them as I release them to make room for what I now am ready to move ahead on. I do this easily. I do this joyfully. And I do this with the faith of knowing that even that which has not yet come into my life is already on its way. As I make room for it and as I become clear about what it is I choose now and who I choose to be, the way is made easy, wide, and beckoning. So I accept for myself this time, this year, and every moment within it as an exciting process of my own unfolding and expanding in consciousness. I rejoice that this is so, gratefully, and with thanksgiving I affirm, and so it is. So I'd also like to remind you that this is an exercise that you can do for yourself anytime, other than probably not in the garage. You don't have to wait for the beginning of a new year to let go of experiences. At any time, you can write down whatever you'd like to release, put it in a small box or an envelope, seal in the sorrow, and say good riddance. Then burn it or toss it in the trash. If we had fireplaces, you could toss it in the fireplace. Otherwise, find another way to let it go. Remember, each day is a new start, a fresh start, a new door opening. Ivy Baker Priest once wrote, "The world is round, and the place which may seem like the end may actually be the beginning." So just one brief postscript to this exercise. At any time, you can choose to look at painful or negative memories that are in your past and decide, not now, not yet. And that's okay too, because when you're ready to release it, you'll know. I know this is sometimes a very poignant exercise, and if any of you would like to stay afterward or you'd like to talk about it any time this week, one-on-one or on Wednesday night, you're welcome to do so. And we'll take some time next week to provide a space for that as well. Next week I'll be continuing this topic, opening new doors, by presenting the next two phases of the wondrous process that is. We'll talk about interacting with the present and imagining the future. During the coming week, though, take some quality time to give those two things some thought as well. Interacting with the present, imagining the future. Today's exercise in releasing the past may very well have created those spaces for you. And now you can begin to fill those spaces with some exciting new ideas. Remember that in this new year, 2016, we are made new by our conscious choices in those areas of our lives that we choose. I invite you to take time to grant yourself the right and the privilege of letting go of what no longer serves you in a positive and life-affirming way. I invite you to bless the new spaces awaiting your new ideas for the present and for the future. Marcel Proust once said, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in seeing with new eyes." Enjoy this opportunity to see with new eyes. And so it is.